We all have something to let go of. It's the one thing that everyone in the world has in common. They used to say death and taxes, but not everyone pays taxes. But letting go is something that truly everyone on earth has in common. That's the one thing that we share that connects us all. I was a real estate developer in 2005. I bought a building called the Sydney High. The building was home to artists and musicians who not only lived and worked in the space, but during their creative time, they would paint walls and doors, and the building became their canvas.
I grew up doing graffiti art and customizing clothes, and after being there for a while, I started to meet people. Definitely a community feeling to it. The artwork I was doing in the building at the time, a lot of it was what I did on the walls. Was almost a diary in a sense, or a journal.
There was a fire in the building, which meant that the city would require us to update the building, bring it back up to code, which was too expensive. So at that point, all the tenants had to move out.
Yeah, I believe the fire started in one of the musician spaces. I wasn't there that night. I want to say it was a cigarette and a couch or something like that. One of the tenants had texted me and told me what happened, and that we only had a certain amount of time to get our stuff out. I remember just thinking like, this is it, like I was super bummed. I think everybody was bummed. But I do remember there was just a real beautiful evening. The sun was setting, and it kind of came through all the windows. It was just kind of orange in there, and it just felt all right. I was pissed and had a whole mixture of emotions, overwhelmed and just kind of bummed, but at the moment it just seemed okay. So I remember writing on the way out. I do remember writing something, and it was pretty much just kind of like c'est la vie, you know what I mean? I guess I was okay with it, even though it hurt. Sacrificing, a lot of my artwork and personal property, it kind of felt okay at the moment.
I was walking through the building. At this point, the building was empty, and I saw adios. That one of the artists had tagged the wall adios on the way out. While I was struggling with the idea of letting the building go, I realized that the people who had called the building home had said goodbye and were moving on. And for the first time, I felt like that was something that I needed to do, and that was the right time. I felt suddenly at peace with letting the building go. And I remember standing there, and the hair on the back of my neck stood on end. I was so moved by that little note on the wall. The way that it impacted me and the way I felt about it, I realized that people would also be inspired by it. And I started to print some shirts and stickers and patches and would give them away, and when people would ask about the brand, and I was amazed by the amount of connection that people had to the idea of letting go. A number of people were actually comforted by wearing adios and having the reminder, and they were comforted for things like a loss of a brother, a loss of a father. A woman that I know, a dear friend of mine, told me that she wore it on Father's Day because she knew her dad would like that. And another friend of mine was trying to give up a smoking habit. He was having a bad day, and he decided that although he was trying to give up smoking, he was a couple months in, that today he needed a cigarette. So he was walking across the intersection to a 7-Eleven across the street, and as he was passing another pedestrian, said to him, "Adios." And he looked and thought, "What?" And he realized he was wearing his adios shirt. And that was his reminder that he was working on letting go of smoking. It was the one kick that he needed to finally let go of that habit. When you put it on in the morning and you see it, it's just a constant reminder, and it keeps you present and focused on letting things go. That's what the brand is about. It's about being present, It's about reaching out to someone else and connecting in a way that you ordinarily wouldn't. And I think it's important to be able to have a symbol like that not only reminds you to let something go, but will compel someone to walk up to you on the street and ask you what your adios is.